So market this week ended 17th of August 2018. We have the Nifty up around 80 odd points. The strong trend is resilient, and it seems like it's here to stay for some more time. Well, I'm gonna declutter my screen a little bit. I've got a few positions which I've stacked up over here, a couple of call positions in Titan and Tata Motors. Went long on Titan, should walk you through this breakout, like a symmetrical triangle pennant kind of a breakout which I traded. I was interested from this particular bar where it was an inside bar, and momentum indicators on my aim and shoot trading strategy suggested that this is the time that one should start to aim, and we got a shoot on this day. So I'm long on Titan. The intraday trade went on really well. I'm holding on to it from my positional clients, and it seems like there is still some upside left. Hopeful about it. The daily chart suggests the fact that yes, if it manages to sustain above its previous swing high, which was close to that 945, we got a high of 944.9. The weekly chart also suggests that the momentum is intact. We've got 6 consecutive positive weekly closes so far. So Titan is one which I'm keeping a close watch on. Got a call on Tata Motors. This is a 260 call option. Managed to get into it around 3 rupees, 310 rupees, currently 5.4, and inching up as we speak. In fact, Tata Motors in the futures market is also hitting its day's high. I've got the tick query running here, where it shows that around 1 crore value of Tata Motors got traded right now in 2 different trades. So volumes are happening, Tata Motors in the futures market. So let's declutter this a little bit. I'll close these technical queries. I'll just minimize this. I'll keep this on the side a little open for some more time, or should I just minimize this? All right, so market this week, let's start off with Nifty as we do always. Let's look at the weekly chart. What do we have? Okay, I am on Heiken-Ashi candles, but I know that every one of you are very comfortable with the conventional candles. So for your sake, I moved down to the conventional candles. And what do we have? We have the market holding on well. The uptrend tends to continue. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 consecutive weekly closes, which is always a good thing. Closing at the highest point of the week with just couple and a half hours of trading left. We should not be doubting the trend. Let's see if the momentum indicators are supportive enough. Everything seems to be fine. In fact, the volatility has slowed down a little bit, which is a good thing. Daily chart, we did get a couple of divergences, which walked. This one led to a couple of days fall, but then we've got a bounce back. And as we move down to the line chart, we are yet to post a life high on a closing basis, but structurally everything is intact. I've drawn a couple of channels on my RSI over here, and this one, the one which is angling down, this is the current channel within which the RSI is trading. So if I look at the larger time frame, even the smaller time frame, there's no reason why we should doubt this strong uptrend. Trends can get really stronger. Momentum force of the market can push the prices further up, further up than one can imagine. So we'll not try to buck the trend and go short on the Nifty or the index. Stocks or sector, if we find, we might, but bottom line, the overall bias is bullish. Let's quickly check with the Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty had a small positive hidden divergences at yesterday's close. I did not have a confirmation with my range indicator, but overall we've got a move today, and if it manages to close above that 28,100 mark, I sense that the weekly charts are going to extend further on the upside. It's probably not going to be a big move, but slow and steady move is fair enough. Talking about banking stocks, it was Yes Bank which got my attention today. Let's quickly check within the Bank Nifty universe, which are the stocks which are doing great in today's trade. So I quickly drag the percentage change, and to sort them, I figure out that it's Yes Bank. Big move, big move. I like the monthly, I like the weekly charts, the way it is shaping up. Sorry for that. Yes. So the way that it's shaping up and got a breakout on the upside, that's the biggest gainer from the banking space, followed by IDFC, Kotak, and ICIC. So we've got a list of private sector banks which are supporting the bank Nifty as well as the overall index. Fed Bank is at the other end of the spectrum. It's been in a downtrend. This is the weekly chart. The daily chart suggests we've got a bearish engulfing. This big move which came for Fed Bank on the 17th, after that it's essentially buying time. Thankfully, it's not corrected much, but not much left in the stock. So Axis Bank is another one which moved really well over the last, I think, few weeks. What a move it was. Coming back to its previous highs from where it found resistance multiple times. It's stretched, it's tired, and we've got a couple of divergences shaping up. These are signs that one can look to probably sell a call or buy a put for the next early next week. But the trend is very strong. There will be a detour. It will be a short-term move down before it decides to push itself further up. So Axis Bank, one can look to go contrarian, but not contrarian, but for the very short-term period, not a long-term one. So as always, as we do, we'll open up the report designer and quickly check which are the sectors which are performing this week. So I'll change it to weekly and I'll select a group. In this case, I'm going to go with the FNO the NSE all indices, run. And who do we have? Yes, no prizes to guess that, pharmaceuticals. Pharma gave a big breakout. This is the daily chart, this is the weekly, and this is the monthly. We have a turnaround sector in our hands, and it's surely showing signs of turning on the upside. The weekly makes a series of higher highs, higher lows, so does the daily. There's no doubt about it. Quickly, let's go down to the pharmaceutical space and figure out which are the stocks which performed. I know for sure Dr. Reddy is one because I had a long trade on that this week. Did cut out too early, shouldn't have, but anyways, I was happy with the profits that I was making. But let's quickly check who are the gainers on today's trade. Cadila, and not the best of the stocks within the pharmaceutical space. It's still in a downtrend. It's a short-term bounce back. Aurobindo Pharma, breakout, simple breakout. Erstwhile highs being taken out with good momentum, and the weekly chart suggesting that it's a strong close, 7.5% on the upside. This stock is a definite buy on a dip candidate going forward. Glenmark is on the verge of a breakout. Aurobindo has already broken out, so Glenmark picking up some pace. Lupin has been oscillating, the fall and the rise and the fall and the rise. So essentially, it's not gaining any grounds. If you look at the weekly chart and the monthly chart, and if you, let's say, compare that with the Aurobindo Pharma or, let's say, Glenmark, Lupin is still kind of not as strong as the momentum we have seen in Aurobindo and Glenmark. Dr. Reddy, what a move. It has been pretty good. We've got up 7% this week. I got a trade over here. I managed to enter the stock around 22.50, 52 levels and got a move. I missed out this one. Was happy with the 2-day move which was there on my hand, but I like the weekly chart of Dr. Reddy as well as the monthly, the way it is, shaping up after bottoming out. So pharma is here to stay. Sun, obviously, the biggest mover when it comes to momentum. On a weekly basis, it's up almost 13%. So if you have gone long on these stocks 2-3 days back, and you'll find some early signs of weakness, which will be evident from higher shadows coming in from your candlestick charts, you can look to book some short-term profits if they are short-term trades. If they are long-term trades, I'll suggest that you can hold on to them, give the stocks a little bit of more time to prove itself. However, we're dealing with an erstwhile underperforming sector, so your anticipation from a short-term trade should be less limited, and that's the reason why I booked out of Dr. Reddy a little early. So pharma looks good. Buy on a dip. It needs to be seen when the dip comes, whether the dip supports holds support and then moves further up. But pharmaceuticals definitely one to keep a watch at. IT, we spoke about IT at length in our last market this week, and we said that if the Nifty comes off a little bit, which it did, it's the IT space which should perform, and exactly that happened. Sorry for that. That was my phone. It should be better kept on mute. All right. So it exactly played out that way. Nifty did ease off, and yes, the large cap IT did manage the index well, and it broke out on the upside. So far, so good. At today's trade, as we see, we were interested in Infosys. This is a weekly chart of Infosys. Nice 3.2% move. Wipro, flattish. It went as high as 287, but then it has cooled off over the last 2 days. TCS, up around 1% this week, but slow and steady, small candles, nothing much to gain, nothing much to lose, but it tends to hold on to the trend. HCL Tech, good move, coming up around 4% gain this week. Daily charts suggesting a little bit of ease off, but overall, again, structurally, trend is intact. And Tech Mahindra, on the verge of a breakout as it seems. We've got a 5.5% move this week. Erstwhile highs is around 685. So I think the IT dominance, I will not use the word dominance, the IT participation, I think will continue going forward. It will support the index if there's a short-term correction or a price correction from the overall markets. So IT continues to do good. FMCG is the third biggest sectoral gainer this week, around 2%. Let's quickly do a check on that. Change the group and go to FMCG. And let's figure out who are the ones who are performing in today's trade. So far, we've got a big move from Imami ITC. That's the one. We've got close to a 3% move after the short-term consolidation. The stock moves up. Daily chart gives a clean breakout and strong trend. Monthly chart will suggest that the stock has bottomed out and picked up on the upside. It's closing it around 315 on the upside. Trend is strong, momentum is high. It's likely to continue. Britannia, structurally very, very strong stock, though very liquid. Marico, same goes with that. Tata Global is trying to form a base close to that 233 mark. Breakout candidate, I like the way the Bollinger Bands are squeezing up. It is like shaping up for a big move either direction, likely to be on the upside. Let's quickly look at Hindustan Lever. It's slowed down. I like these kind of a formation where within a particular large candles range, the next successive candles make shorter candles inside days, one after the other. Essentially, kind of a coil which will lead to a big move. In fact, the way it's shaping up now, it's on the verge of a pretty good move. This breakout is definitely worth a look from a short-term trading perspective. So FMCG seems to be holding well. What about the sectors which have underperformed? PSU banks, all right. Media, there's nothing much in media. It's Odd Z and Sun TV. Public sector enterprises, that's of BHEL and BEML and Bharat Electronics are the ones which are coming off. So the losers are essentially your PSU banks. So let's look at that. Let's go to and check how are the PSU banks shaping up. So there you go. We've opened the PSU banking universe. Let's drag it here. And what do we have? On a weekly time frame, we've got Indian Bank, IDBI, SBI is down 3%. It's made a beautiful shooting star. It's got a beautiful evening star as well. So we've got some bearishness coming up on the weekly chart in terms of the candlesticks. My trend and momentum is intact, so I'm not too much worried. Do I have some kind of a setup? I've got an aim and shoot. Nice. In fact, I've got a good aim and shoot setup on SBI. Worth taking a call. In fact, once I'm done with it, done with this market this week, I'm going to definitely take a close watch and probably go with a call of 300. Let's quickly check how much does the 300 call is trading for State Bank of India. So near month call only. So we're talking about the 300 out of the money, slightly out of the money call. So 300 300 call, there you go, down here. It's trading at around 5 rupees 75 paisa, and we've got an 18% open interest build up. Liquidity is not a problem with SBI calls. Go a little cheaper if you go a little out of the money. 310 call, we've got around 2 rupees 70 paisa. We've got a 14% open interest build up. Yeah, so I think it's worth taking a close watch on SBI. This short-term correction is kind of slowing down. It can lead me to a bounce back. I've got an aim and shoot set up here, so I'll definitely keep a close watch. But SBI and the others in the space like Allahabad Bank down 10%, Andhra 6, Bank of Baroda 2, PNB flat, Oriental Bank flat, Union Bank flat, Syndicate 6% down, Can Bank 2%, and Bank India 1.5%. So PSU banking space is the one which underperformed this week. Private sector banks outperformed this week. And as we speak right now, the Nifty is around 84 points up. Wow, there goes Titan hitting high of the day. It's always a good thing to see your stock hitting highest point of the day's trade. Gives you a good feeling. There you go, the breakout. I like the way this move is. The Bollinger Bands are, both of them are on the same direction, that is shaping on the upside. This suggests that this move will probably be a slower one, but it will continue its direction on the upside. So having said that, I'll take up your question. So I continue my bias on the overall market positive. I will not be surprised if the Nifty continues to hit new life highs for the rest of this month. Let's quickly look at the monthly chart. Very nice. I don't see any kind of momentum divergences shaping up on the daily or the weekly charts on the Nifty or the Bank Nifty. So don't doubt the trend. Don't question the underlying force or momentum of that trend. Staying with the trend is going to help us. We're going to continue to swing by this market. So stocks which are coming off will, like SBI, would probably be a good candidate to buy into. So the bullish bias continues. Banks at a mixed space. FMCG is picking up. That's good. Hindustan Lever, we just spoke some time back, and now it started to hit high of the day, and it's on the verge of that breakout we were anticipating. There you go. If you draw a trend line, you know that now we have almost a trend line breakout in our hands. Something like this. Yeah. So yes, bullishness stays, and I think it's the large caps which are definitely likely to continue its dominance in the overall market. I'll take up your questions on stocks or sectors if you have, so please feel free to ask any question. Why did you enter the trade? Can you explain, Dr. Reddy? Sorry, I cannot see your name, so I cannot call you with your name. I'm very sorry, but yeah, Dr. Reddy essentially was an aim and shoot trade. Aim and shoot is a strategy which I trade and I train. I teach that strategy also. It was an aim and shoot candidate where in an uptrending market where I decide my trends with help of moving averages. It eases off. I'm a swing trader, so I would like to see for a short-term correction. The short-term correction gives me some oversold territory. I got a good, beautiful bullish harami pattern here, or you call it an inside bar. And yes, this was the breakout which I wanted to trade. However, I'll confess, I exited a little early. I did not see that it's going to move up so much, but it did. All right, not a problem. Hopefully, I learn from this and make up in my next trade. Hopefully, that one in Titan hitting 947 at the day's high. Beautiful. So yeah, so Dr. Reddy was an aim and shoot Purush. Thank you. Please provide NF resistance and support for the coming week. Sure. I missed that out. Thanks for pointing it out. So what we have is, see, we've got a positive hidden, so PhD over here, as we call it. And so the levels that I'm going to draw and leave this one, it's going to be an important one on the downside for the Nifty near month future. So we're looking at 11,380 on a closing basis. That's the level that one should look at. And on the upside, we've got a classical on this level, which was this closing basis. So this is around 11,487. So you can think of 11,500. So if the index takes out 11,500, sustains above that, yes, it's got enough strength to push it further up. If you see my channels on the RSI. It has shifted from this one, which was angling flatter, to this one, which is angling on the downside. But if it goes towards the 70 mark, this is the zone where I sense that the RSI 14 will come up to. This will lead to a further breakout from the Nifty. So 11,380 and 11,500 for the Nifty future is what you should be looking at from a short-term perspective. If it breaks above that 11,500 and considering the trend and momentum, it can continue to go extend further on the upside. All right, we would keep our bias positive as long as we do not see any signs of weakness on the top. CET is in a downtrend, though it is consolidating now too much. What's your view? Yeah, in fact, I've not seen CET for the last couple of days. It did come on my radar because it was consolidating. Yes. So what we have is a pinch. Quickly first, I'll see the weekly chart. So improved, though RSI range is on the bearish range. So it's got a lot to do. What we have is 1 2 bar move and then 2 bar consolidation. This is a very common thing with CET as a stock. It moves for a less number of days and it consolidates for a far larger number of days. So that means that as a trader you need patience. So when I trade, especially in the futures market, CET is something that I would like to get myself into because it tests your patience a lot. But having said that, short-term momentum seems to die down a little bit, but short-term trend is intact. As you can clearly see, you have a pinch in your hand. A pinch is a structure of Bollinger Bands where the upper Bollinger Band falls and the lower Bollinger Band rises. That's an instance where there is range contraction. This is very, very clear with the small size of the last two candles. Momentum indicators, we've got the RSI on the verge of moving into a bullish range. It's still in a bearish range. So we need a breakout above. So this pinch, if it leads to a breakout on the upside, we've got a good move in CET, and the recurring moves can be better. Now, what I see in CET is this level of around 1450, 1460. This was erstwhile supports, which is probably holding the stock down. Weekly charts are better, much better. Daily charts are slow down. So if you've gone long, you need some patience. If you want to get into it, I would suggest wait out for the next move, because after the next move, if it holds well, it will transform itself into a better trending, uptrending stock, and you'll get multiple opportunities then rather than now. Okay. I guess Apollo Tyre is one that you can keep a look on because it has come down quite a lot. Let's look at the range. Now, the reason why I like Apollo Tyre better than CET is, one, it is in a bull phase on the weekly as well as the daily time frames. I've got supports coming in from my RSI channel lines. What we have is a healthy correction. What we have is a morning star shaping up in these 3 days. We've got a bounce back. We don't have any divergences. Would have loved to see some divergences shaping up, but yeah, on the 75-minute chart, I think we've got a breakout above this level, which is the 268, 270 mark. You can keep a close watch on Apollo Tyre if you're looking into these tire stocks, right? What else? Any other questions that anyone would like to ask? Bajaj Finserv. Bajaj Finserv, what do we say? This is the weekly chart, strong trend, monthly chart, and the daily chart. Beautiful pinch, order intact. Momentum slows down, which is very necessary for the next move to happen. See, what I'm saying is, come at this point. If you notice at this point, Bajaj Finserv had a breakout. Momentum has to ease off, because until and unless momentum eases off, it will not get the headroom to go further up. That's exactly what's happening here. Momentum is easing off with the help of a pinch. I think this stock is heading further up. The only thing is, at times it gives wild moves, big moves, and then it slows down. So this is that phase where it has essentially slowed down a lot, but continue to hold on to it. It's a pinch, so it's likely to give a move very soon. hopefully on the upside. But I'm going with the trend and the momentum, which is both on the upside. As we speak, Biocon is hitting days lows significantly. I think there's some kind of sell-off happening there in Biocon. That's the intraday 75-minute chart and the 15-minute chart as we see. Big sell-off coming in the stock, and these are the trades with the quantity happening on Biocon. Yeah, it's selling off. Probably some news hitting the media. I don't watch television, so I won't be able to comment on that. But looking into the way it's coming off, it's definitely got some external trigger. However, chart-wise, it's not a bad chart. The weekly or the monthly charts are still intact. The daily chart is easing off. I would like to see the stock hold that 580, 590 mark. We've got an engulfing in today's trade. Not greatly bearish and neither very bullish. So keep a close watch on it. All right, so Yashwant adds on that Biocon faces resistance from the 50-day moving average. So yeah, so technically that is one, that can be one reason. What I see clearly is the erstwhile supports of around 600 playing out here at this level. Pharma has been a turnaround. So after this correction, if Biocon manages to hold, I think a move above 610 can lead to further upsides, if at all. Right? Okay. Any other questions? So we've got this week nicely poised. Any comments on JSW Steel? It's looking promising. I've made a quick trade on that, but it had gap down yesterday. So let's quickly look at the JSW Steel. So it gapped down yesterday. Yes, it did. We've got a nice trending stock. Gap down yesterday, went into aim and shoot, and today's made an inside bar with a bullish Harami pattern. Let's go to the higher time frame and check. It's essentially finding resistances at your 347, 350 mark, which is essentially trying to make a double top kind of a formation. The weekly Bollinger Bands is getting into a pinch, means a move is coming up soon. Indicators suggest that the trend is intact. Daily trend is just kind of deteriorated thanks to yesterday's gap down. The Bollinger Bands again are shaping up into a pinch. So I sense that this pinch is going to get tighter before the next move. And considering that in an uptrending stock, the momentum indicators have gone deeply, not deeply, but kind of oversold, we can get a bounce back. You've got the first leg here. I think if it moves above that 337, 340 mark, let me quickly do a quick check. Yeah, this bar's high. So we're looking at 337. So 337, 338, there's likely to be a move on the upside on JSW Steel. So keep a close watch on JSW Steel as well. But do remember 350 is a strong resistance on the upside. Okay. As we speak, all of a sudden the screen's gone relatively more red, thanks to Coal India, Maruti, Tata Elxsi, Manappuram, and Biocon coming off. Hindalco, yeah, we would like to talk about Hindalco as well. So Hindalco gap down, lead to a bounce back today. So let's look at the weekly chart of Hindalco, kind of flat. Not much to take out, either bullish or bearish. The order of my moving averages are on the downside. On the weekly, the order of my moving averages is on the upside on the daily. So there you go. There's some bit of confusion. Clear signs of resistance at 229, 230. There's no doubt about that. On the downside, it bounced back from sub 200 levels. That's psychological, but erstwhile lows is around 204.5. So not much to take away anything from Hindalco. If I look at from a trading perspective, I do have a setup, a little aggressive setup, but I'm not going to trade that setup. That is, if next week it takes out that 221, 222, that's today's high, it can inch further up. But rallies are likely to get little checked on the upside. So one need to be a little cautious. I'll rather go with a clean setup to trade where there is no ambiguity. Hindalco seems to have quite a bit of doubt in terms of the underlying trend, right? Sun Pharma is high bottom, weekly reliable entry for positional. Madhava, Sun Pharma, if you're asking me, it's moved up big time, right? Doesn't make sense to enter now. because of the very fact that expanded market. I'd rather always never, suggest that you should never enter into a market which has expanded. SMS Pharma. Okay, sorry, not Sun Pharma. SMS Pharma. All right, SMS Pharma. Okay, all right. Interesting chart. Sorry, I read that. The moment I see pharma, I think that someone's asking me about Sun Pharma. Anyways, SMS Pharma, what is it doing? It is consolidating. Very good support over here around 63, 64. Got some resistances here at 76, 77. Yes, a breakout is worth a trade. Weekly charts and monthly charts. Essentially, this breakout, this big move on the month of what? September 2017 faded out. It has come below that, and it's made a couple of short-term divergences trying to move out. So honestly, weekly, monthly charts are not very promising. It's got a long-term flag shaping up here, but I like the way it is consolidating. So get into it in a staggered manner. You can look to buy the breakouts. It's a cheap stock, relatively sub 100 rupees. So be in no hurry whatsoever. Don't expect that all the farmers are moving and this guy is not moving, so this should move. I don't know what's SMS Pharma's fundamentals, what core competencies and products are. I have no clue about that. But if you think that, okay, if this is the stock which has not moved, has not given a move, now it will move, your thinking is too late. And if the stock had to perform, it would have moved by now. But having said that, worth a watch, and definitely one can nibble into it and start to accumulate in parts in a staggered manner. All right, I'll take up Tata Steel. In fact, steel metals have been the underperformers, and now they have given a bounce back. And what we have in Tata Steel is similar story what we saw in JSW, confusing, conflicting trend from the weekly and the daily charts. Daily kind of faces resistance as it comes close to that psychological 600 on the upside. Monthly correction has been healthy. Weekly has been a healthy correction coming back to that 500, psychologically holding that. It seems like we have negative hidden divergences on the weekly. So I'm not very bullish. In fact, if these lows are given away early next week, which is close to 565, 564, I sense that the stock can come down. It's highly possible that Tata Steel might come down. That coming down correction may not be very big, but it probably can take up half of the rally, which can take it close to that 540 mark. All right. Missed out on Concor. Concor was a short candidate. I can still look to go short on it. This is again an hide and seek pattern. It opened way up, opening high, and then sold off. As the market weakened a little bit, kind of not weakening, but let's look at the 15-minute chart. Nothing much. It's a healthy correction. Hindustan Lever, there you go. As we finish this market this week, we've got a breakout. We found that stock on the verge of a breakout, and yes, now it has given a clean breakout. So Hindustan Lever and the rest of the FMCG is definitely worth keeping a close eye on, right? Okay, all right then, everyone. Thanks for joining this market this week ended 17th of August. Bullish bias continues. Go on with your long trades. Keep the short-term trades intact. Use stop losses on your futures trade. And as always, trade well and trade wise. One golden tip: always keep your trends in line with the underlying trend, unless you're doing a very high conviction contrarian trade. Till then, I'll catch up with you again next Friday, 1 o'clock, like always. Have a very good weekend and a profitable week coming forward. Thank you. Take care.